Good day, everyone, especially to our instructor, Miss Juvenile Bacaron. So, I am Nina Marie A. Bungator, a fourth year student of Block 2. So, today we are going to dig deeper about information system for decision making. So, first, before we dig into the topic, let me let me let you see a picture. So I want to know if what can you say about the picture, and then yeah, just put it in your mind kung ano ang inyong sa inyong nahuna-hunaan. So yes, it is related and very very related into our topic. Sige. So we all know, so there's a person who has lots of computers sa iyahang atubangan, monitors sa iyang atubangan, and then that signifies that information is really really important in an organization. And due to lots of information coming out and going in an organization, we have to have a system that would manage those information in order to make a decision. So unlike before, we are very very lucky because unlike before is manual lang ang trabaho aning mga butanga. So through paperworks lang ingana siya makita. So right now we are enjoying the gift of digital. So right now we are in the 21st century, where there's a lots of informations going in and out. However, there are fields of information system have come a long way in the last decades. So there's an increasing number of managerial personnel rely on computers and information system to make decision making. So right now, we are di na lang ta manual, we are already digging more. Nagkuan na ta sa nag-take advantage na ta sa mga platforms, sa mga apps, sa mga ERPs in order to make decision making. So this also help us to produce a sound decision making. So because of the different managers have at different levels of organization make different kind of decisions. So nga na siya ka-overload sa information if 'di ba different ang managers na yung mga different managers at different fields, and then napod sila different decision making. So that is why very helpful ang information system in making decisions specifically on what field they are focusing at. So right now, so there are types of information system according to their functions. So number 1 is the transaction processing system, or the TPS. Number 2 is the MIS, which is the management information system. Number 3 will be discussed by Miss Megan, which is the ISS, Information Support System, and the OAS, which is the Office Automation System. So let's focus first on the transaction processing system. So the main purpose of the transaction processing system is to record, process, validate, and store transaction takes place in various functions of business for retrieval for purposes. So this only means that So, when we relate it to our accounting man jud, so accounting man ta, relate na to sa accounting, there are various transaction happening in a day-to-day operation. So, through this system, so unlike sa una na magsuwat ra, through this system, we were able to record and validate process validation siya i-validate siya sakto ba imong information or dili ba, sakto ba siya pagkabutang ang credit or debit, ganon. And then store transaction, so this will also store the information, so i-save niya and it will be safely saved kay it is a very very important information for the organization, di ba? And very siya, confidential. So, in various functions of the business for retrieval for purposes. So, syempre, kinahanglan na to siyang i-retrieve kay it will be maggamit man siya in the future references. So, transaction can be internal and external. So, examples of internal and external. So for the internal, so when the department order office supplies from the purchasing department, so this is already ko ana pod kanang we're already human na naman sa kanang daghan natang na discuss ani. So this is internal means happening inside the business, so happening in the management, transaction that is happening in the management na siya. So external, an example for external, when a customer takes an order for a product or so a product or services, so muna siya like sa kung giingon pa ang internal is happening transaction that is happening inside. So, vice versa, external transaction that happens outside the business. Ganon siya. So, di lang kay we should focus more on sales but also we should mag-focus po sa mga office supplies used, ganon. Di lang external pero internal pod mag-focus po sa magkuan po sa transaction processing, so sa the overall niya na transaction dili lang mag-focus sa one side. So mo to siya. So this processing system is various use in this organization such as finance, accounting, manufacturing, production, human resources, marketing, and engineering, quality control, and research development. So, mo na siya. Next. So, steps in processing a transaction. So, I know that we are familiar naman dyan siguro taani, but because need man siya i-discuss. So, I'll discuss it to you lang. So, number one is data entry. So, transaction must be first entered in a system. So, through the use of the input devices, which is the keyboard and the mouse, we can enter a data coming from the outside, so coming from the various transactions, so that has been occurring. Then after ana, pwede na to siyang i-input sa data for the system. So i-input na to siya. Ano siya, simple, like you just gonna imo ra siyang enter ang data, like nga na i-type ra nimo, simple like. So example, when a customer returns an item at a store, the sales receipt becomes the source document for the transaction. Return item for the returned for replacement. So that's it. Wala siya i-ensure nimo ba if kanang debit ba siya or credit nga na siya. So next is data validation. So data validation is very essential in transaction processing because it ensures accuracy, reliability of the data. So by comparing actual data with the predetermined standard or known results. So there are two steps in validation. So number one is error detection. The checking of the data for appropriate format, checking of the missing data, invalid data, and inconsistent data. So through the system, we were able to kanang makakita na ta kung nasakto ba ang ato ang kanang gipang enter dito or somewhat like naabay kulangan yana based on my experience during my OJT days. So we are assigned to fill a form para sa mga insurance sa mga kanang koan mga loan, and then after that, so while filling up the form, accidentally murag wala na mo nabantayan na nami what na fill upan. And you know what happened? Natingami kay nganong dili siya musod sa system. It's because it lacks an information that is needed in order to process the insurance. So, mo to siya, like, it's one of the example, error detection, like the missing data. So, next is error correction. Error correction procedures are designed to ensure that all have been corrected and that no errors have been introduced during the process. The technique used for correcting the error depends on the type of errors and the nature of the application. So another OJT experience, like we were assigned to make, I think kuan to siya, cash flow. I guess it was cash flow. And then there was a time na ay nag-balance na mi to, T-accounts to siya. T-accounts. Nag-balance mi ato sa debit and credit na mga transactions. And then there comes na kanang mo detect pod siya if wala na balance ang imuhang account, like mo X siya, di siya pwede, like mo kan siya naay sobra na 1,000 pesos diri na side sa credit para mabalance siya mo inga na siya ba. So yan na siya ka nice, 'di ba? Like hatagan kaniya kanang tabangan kaniya para mas mapadali ang imong trabaho. So mo to siya. Na siya. So dali ra kayo mi nakakuan, naka-balance sa kuan T accounts the because of the TPS. So next would be data processing and reevaluation. So data processing and reevaluation. Wait for a while. Online means data processing and reevaluation. So there are after the validation of accuracy and reliability of the data are proceed to the following two modes, which is the online transition processing and the batch processing. So online means that the data input device directly linked to the TPS. The data are directly processed as soon as it is entered to the system. In this system, the information is always no time lag between data creation and data processing. So example for this is ATM on our module. So I tried pod to get some another example which is online banking. So when you transfer your money from your checking account to your savings account, the transaction is processed immediately. So mo na siya makita nimo ang balance sa imuhang both accounts in real time. Mo siya na kanang one of the examples pud siya. So next is batch processing. So in batch processing, transaction are accumulated over time and processed periodically. Processing may be done in a daily, weekly, monthly basis or any other time period appropriate to the given application. So an organization may process its sales proceeds on daily basis at the end of the each day and its daily expenses on the monthly basis. So mo na siya. How example for this is weekly, monthly billing. So kabantay mo na yung electricity mo na siya. Payroll. So inventory processing ana siya. So and other more. Daghan jud pud siya like kuan. Mostly ani is kanang nasa munisipyo pod na pod sa munisipyo like kanang kuan pag-process sa mga payments ingana may mga payments pag-process sa mga budget ug pag-release mo na siya. Next is the data or the data storage or the storage. So is another important function because the values of useful of data diminish if data are not properly stored. So data is somewhat a treasure for in an organization kay dira ba ang mga top secret formula, 'di ba? Kung giunsa nila pag kuan sa ilahang pag-manage sa ilahang organization. So mo na siya dapat it is properly stored. Di siya dali ma-corrupt. Ingana example lang good is kabantay mo anang so nag-thesis man ta ron, 4th years nag-thesis man ta. So if mawala ang ato ang file for the thesis, unsa atong ma-feel? 'Di ba murag kanang if mawala siya or ma-corrupt like example na store nimo siya sa USB then wala ka nagunahon na wala ka nagunahon na sa USB lang naka-store din ako mag-backup and then there comes a time na imuhang USB is gisudlan og virus unya nawala ang imuhang file sa thesis ana siya. So mao to siya kinahanglan jud na i-store nimo properly ang imuhang mga data. So napoy uban na i-store nila sa computer lang which is a computer is prone to virus man pod. Ang laptop is prone to virus man pod. So the very safe way in order to store your data is always kanang make a backup file or imo siyang ibutang sa kuan imo siyang i-save dito sa kanang cloud computing na mga apps like Google Drive, ingana kanang OneDrive, ingana siya. So it's very very important siya. So if you have datas, you have to really be kanang mindful to save or to have a backup file. Ano siya. So next is the output generation. So next 'di ba kay ama naman tag store. Ang ato na lang is unsa na to pag communicate ang ato ang nahimo na transaction sa decision maker which is atong output unsay atong output. So most of the time atong output is documents and reports or forms ana siya. So kaning document is the most popular. Example of this are invoices, paychecks, purchase invoices, sales receipts, and job orders. So So next will be the query support. So after sa kanang kuan output generation, diri na pud ta sa query support wherein we have to ask it facilitates allow users to access data and info and may otherwise not be readily so available. So mo na siya, you have to ask questions. So 'di ba if napaman siya sa process of transacting a data, 'di ba? So we have to kanang ask if kanang sakto na ba ni siya, ingana ang atong data na input sa kanang kuan. We have to ask our bosses like for katong experience na mo sa OJT na before mo submit og final na gyud sa transaction ingana moasa mi sa mong kanang nagkuan na mo facilitate na mo og sakto na ba ni among gipanghimo ingana napabay kulang ingana kay you know once masubmit na siya nimo ingana masubmit na siya sa next sa MIS di na siya nimo usob og wrong. So you have to really know if ready na ba ang imuhang kanang information, ang imong information na nabuhat, ready na ba siya or dili pa. Ana, di pa siya available, di pa siya pwedeng i-available sa kay murag na pay kulangan, ingana, na yung mga sayop, ingana. So yeah, you have to really recheck, and then kuan kanang query support kanang sa self-run nimo pero naman po yung mga uban na mo support na yung mga kanang apps na mo support pod in order to check your work nga na siya. So ang imo lang i-check siguro is yung mga name, nga na wrong spelling ba, ang kuan, ang mga amounts, nga na sa amo ang side, especially sa insurance. So mo to siya. Next will be the management information system. So are designed for providing information to the key functionaries in an organization. This system makes use of the already processed transaction data which is outputted from TPS. So as what I have said, dapat i-make sure jud nimo na ang imuhang information is readily kay tungod kay after ana niya imo na siyang i-transfer sa MIS. So ana siya. So nag-discuss man ta pagla sa TPS. So after sa TPS, after making sure that everything is already perfect, then you have to go with the MIS. I-submit na nimo siya. So generate information reports and processing data. The output of MIS takes the form of summary reports and exception reports. So, ano siya? So, for the summary report, accumulates data from several transactions and present results in a condensed form. For example, a bank manager may get a summary report listing the total amounts of deposits and withdrawals made the previous days. So, mura siya kanang mura bitaw siya kanang 'di ba day to day man ang transaction sa MIS is kanang bulky na siya ana. So once di ka mag-check daan sa imong TPS na possibility sa MIS maglisod kag check hinga na ay maglisod kag kanang actually na may na naman po comprehension sa kanang mga apps bitaw na kanang mo tabang nimo query support pero much better gyud kung tayo example sa names or dili sa amount you really have to check it ana kay di na jud na siya mausob ingana. So mo to siya. So the output a summary report accumulates data with several transactions and present results in a condensed form. So mo to siya daghang summary na siya sa mga daghan na mga reports sa then after ato iyaha siyang himuon into gamay na lang ingana. Example kabantay mo anang mga kuan mga graph ana ato siya pwede rin na siya i-present nimo in ana na way ana siya sa through the MIS of course. Then pwede pud ni siya so ang MIS mukuan po siya exception report. So outlines any deviation from expected outputs. Its main purposes is to draw attention of middle managers to any significant differences between the actual and expected. So example of this is a sales manager may study an exemption report that lists all the sales personnel who sold 10,000 RS and more than 50,000 RS in the preceding month. So, muna siya, murag silbi, makompare ni mo siya kung kanang unsay mga significant differences. Example sa sales pag kanang last month and then the following month, inga na siya. So, mo to siya. So, to cut sumok. So, for the next slide, so na ay gi-present na usa ka concept map. So, in order para dali ra masabtan ang ato ang it is ang ato ang topic. So, interaction between the TPS and MIS for information needs of an organization. So, first is the transaction of data. Mag-unggunan siya sa transaction of data. And then, sunod, moagi siya sa TPS, transaction processing system. So, after that, moagi na po siya sa MIS. Hantod ato na ang MIS mo kuan siya mga reports mo produce siya dapat og mga reports like summary reports and exception reports. So that's it. Next is decision making in MIS. So for my next slide is para natin creativity. So para dali ra mahinumduman ang topic about decision making is I have prepared kaning tulo ka buok initials, the EMF. So first is the E, which is decision making is essential part of a management. So ang decision making, a good decision making, ang product sa good decision making is kanang good income and great results inga na siya when it is a good decision making. So it is very essential for the management to make a sound decision making. Kay ngano kanang kuntahay og dili enough ang imong information, na possibility na kanang mahimo na mo down ang sales or dili ba daghang maapektuhan kay it's a management dako na siya na na dako na siya na organization rather na siya. So and then M. So management is synonymous for decision making. So why man na management man is synonymous man sa decision making? It's because daghang decision making na nahitabo sa management mura bitaw ilahan na ng trabaho to produce a sound decision making nga na every now and then they will have to make good decision for the business nga na siya. So next is F, functions of managers, namely planning, organizing, staffing, coordinating, reporting, and budgeting, depending on the level of decision making. So kana siya is in early classical, kaning functions of managers is according to the early classical models of management. Ano siya na muna siya mainly nabuhaton sa mga managers in order to produce a sound decision making. Yan na siya. A sound decision. Next is there are three levels of management and decision making. So the first is the strategic decision making. So the strategic decision making sets policies, defines overall objectives. So rather, the strategic decision making refers to the identifying the best way to achieve goals and objectives. This These goals and objectives are long-term, and strategic decision-making assists in describing a company's main objectives to achieve shorter goals with a broad mission. So, mao na siya. Example of this, so kana siya, mura siya silbi in a broader perspective bitaw, di lang siya ingon na kuan kanang it's all about it talks about the objectives. So kanang kuan siya objectives sa business, which is dapat long term siya nga na broad jud siya kaayo iyang gifokusan. So para ma-direct siya sa mga short term na mga goals sa business. So example of this are for strategic decision making is the branding, licensing, organizational structure, ownership structure, product launches, and many more. Next is the tactical. So next is the tactical decision making. So interprets policies and objectives and provides guidelines for operational decision making. So ang tactical decision making in short is a short-term specific action that a company takes to achieve its strategic goals. So example of this, mga short-term rin siya na mga buhaton sa na kanang short-term na siya para kani bitong goals sa strategic ma-achieve nimo siya. Example is marketing. So deciding on the best marketing channels to reach target customers such as social media, email marketing, or paid advertising. So next is the product development. Next example is the product development, deciding on the features and design of a new product on how to improve an existing one. So next will be the other term for tactical decision making is koan within the constraint set by the strategic design and related to the medium term. Mura siya kanang koan bitaw kanang same as the first na koan. It focuses on mura bitaw iyaharang pa long term aron maabot ang strategic decision making na goal mo to iyahang buhaton mga steps nga na siya. So next is the operational decision making, implements guidelines set down during the tactical decision making process. So these are short-term choices that are typically made on a weekly, daily, or hourly basis. They are primarily concerned with the operational details. So operations na siya more on focusing. So daily resource allocation, inventory control, delivery, routing to maximize product flow along biomass-based production chains. So examples of operational decision making is monthly and daily forecast to determine the demand from end users, determining the deadline for satisfying the demand and analyzing the variances between lead team and deadline, scheduling and planning for daily and weekly reductions. So, muna siya. Next is the types of decision making. So, there are two types of decision making. So, the first one is the structured decisions. So, are those structured decisions are those can be programmed. These decisions can be taken objectively. They are essential, repetitive, routine, and involved in a definite procedure for handling them. They are made accordance to policy. So, program. So, structured. The first thing that you have to kanang remember when you hear about structured decision making is one word, program. Kanang kuan bitaw siya na siya nakaset daan na policy na kanang mag-make kag decision making. Example, like kanang sa law of supply and demand. Example, if imong demand is low, so dapat ang imuhang supply is so if imuhang kuan, example, the law of demand and supply, dai. So kung tahi imuhang price is high, so ang imong price is high, so dapat imong supply is low, 'di ba? Oh. Nya kung tahi imuhang supply is low, so imuhang price is high, 'di ba? Ngana siya. Kay aron mura siyang silbing nanabitay mga policies na naka-base siya, example og magkuan ta sa accounting, di ba, na may mga policies na ato ang sundon, kay mo man na siya naka-program para makakuan derive kag sakto na results, nga na siya. So next is the unstructured decisions. So unstructured are those in which decision maker must provide judgment, evaluation, and insights into the problem definition. This definition must be taken subjectively. So this require creative process. So in problem solving kay dili man siya kana bitaw example, dili siya given bitaw ang problema, ingana di siya given ang kuan situation, di siya given ang problem, walay policy na nahimo, ingana. So mo na siya example kanang product branding, ingana, di ba, murag kanang maghimo kag new na kanang mga patent, ingana, something like ingana siya. So it takes jud creativity para ana siya nabutanga. So in fact, managers at higher level in the organization are usually faced with more on such unstructured decision making situation. So some have aptly described the situation as somewhat strategic in nature as compared to the tactical orientation of the structured decision at lower level of management. Strategic decisions are non-respective, vital, and important, and aim at determining or changing the ends or means of an enterprise. So, what siya? So, right now, the next topic will be discussed by Megan Rose Avenido. That's all. Thank you.